Season 3, Episode 14. Ravioli Exposed. Serial Liar. 3 scientists, Papaia, Banani, and Ravioli, and their assistant Igor work at NASAL. When they start showing interest in creationism, their superiors send them to a psychologist for evaluation. The psychologist, Professor Fagioli, is a shady character determined to get them fired by making them seem insane. The first to enter is Ravioli. We're in Professor Fagioli's office, where Ravioli is talking about how, back in after-school care, he managed to avoid punishment by hiding fish in his backpack. Fagioli. So, just to recap, you said your stress eating began with a nightmare, where a giant boiled fish was chasing you. Ravioli. Yes, exactly. Fagioli. And you also said your mother forced you to eat things like broccoli and fish, which you didn't like. Ravioli. That's right. Fagioli. And finally, you added that after school, you were forced to do the same thing, eat fish and broccoli, or you'd get punished. Ravioli. Unfortunately, yes. Fagioli. But eventually, you came up with a trick to avoid eating and still not get punished hiding the fish in your backpack. Ravioli. Pretty much, yes. Fagioli. But obviously you knew what you were doing was wrong, actually. 2 things. First, not eating perfectly good fish. And second, lying to your mother and your teachers. How did you feel about that? Ravioli. Well, of course I felt a little bad about lying, but definitely better than having to eat that garbage or sit in punishment for hours, and after a while, I got used to it. Fagioli. You became a serial liar. Ravioli. Uneasy. I thought that term was only used for killers. Fagioli. No, it's also for liars. Serial liars. People like you. Ravioli. Okay, fine. No need to repeat it. Too late. Fagioli has already pulled the sock puppet out of his drawer. Tony. Serial liar. Serial liar. Serial liar. Fagioli. That's enough, Tony. Try to keep professional tone. Fagioli laughs to himself. Igor. Voiceover. Professional tone. Maybe the psychologist studied. But the sock? Who gave him a degree? Oh, wait. Now I get it. Tony. Genius, Fagioli. Next time, you're booked for my Friday night comedy show. Anyway, Fagioli says Ravioli is a serial liar, but he doesn't seem to like that label. Maybe we should call him a creative storyteller with digestive issues. How funny. The guilt complex. 3 scientists, Papaia, Banani, and Ravioli, and their assistant Igor work at NASAL. When they begin showing interest in creationism, their superiors send them to a psychologist for evaluation. The psychologist, Professor Fagioli, is a shady character determined to get them fired by making them seem crazy. The first one to enter is Ravioli. We're in Professor Fagioli's office, where Ravioli is talking about how, in the after-school cafeteria, he managed to avoid punishment by hiding the fish in his backpack. Fagioli had just called him a compulsive liar and mocked him using his sock puppet, Tony. Tony. Compulsive liar. Compulsive liar. Compulsive liar. Fagioli. That's enough, Tony. Try to maintain a professional tone. Fagioli. Tony. Tone. Ha ha ha. That's a good one. Fagioli regains composure. Fagioli. So, this implies that you were unconsciously feeling guilty about all the lies you told. Ravioli. Yeah, but it was the only way. Fagioli. Oh, come on. Who are you trying to fool, me or yourself? Those are just excuses, and you knew it. That's why you felt guilty. Ravioli. Well, maybe a little. Fagioli. And that guilt gave birth in your subconscious to the nightmare of the boiled fish you told me about, the one that still haunts you today. Ravioli. That makes sense. Fagioli. By continuing to lie, you begin to repress that guilt, which then resurfaces through the nightmare. Ravioli. That could be true. Fagioli. Not could be is. It is true. Ravioli, hopefully. Yes, it's true. But now what? Does that mean if I deal with the guilt, also fix the emotional eating? Fagioli. No, unfortunately, that part is because you're greedy. But it would be ethical to apologize to your mother and your former teachers, if possible. Igor, voiceover. Nice try, Ravioli. But at least you gave it a shot. Ravioli. I had thought about that too, but I never had the courage. Are you sure that doesn't solve the emotional eating? Fagioli. No, the way to solve emotional eating is to shut your mouth. Tony, shut your mouth. Fatty, ha ha ha, shut your mouth. Igor, voiceover. Oh, ravioli. This time I gotta agree with Tony. Your hunger's got nothing to do with guilt. It's that stomach of yours, the size of a school cafeteria. Igor, voiceover. Unhinged? Is he talking about the screw holding the puppet's head in place? Or the one missing from his masters? How funny. Raviolino lies to his mom. 3 scientists, Papaia, Banani, and Ravioli, and their assistant Igor work at Nassau. When they start getting interested in creationism, their superiors send them to see a psychologist for a test. The psychologist, Professor Fagioli, is a questionable character, determined to get them fired by making them look crazy. The first one to go in is Ravioli. We are in Professor Fagioli's office, where Ravioli is talking about how, at the after-school cafeteria, he would get out of punishment by hiding the fish in his backpack. According to Fagioli, Ravioli's sense of guilt from lying is somehow connected to his recurring nightmare of a giant boiled fish chasing him. Fagioli, anyway, apparently in the dream you told me about, there are some details we still need to clarify, like the bullies. Ravioli, oh yes, I almost forgot, this is the worst part. We go back to the flashback. We are in the living room of Raviolino's house. Raviolino walks in with his school bag still on his back. Mom, Raviolino, the teacher, called me today. Raviolino, really? And what did she want? Mom, she told me that you ate all the fish at the after-school lunch. Raviolino, embarrassed. Yes. Mom, proud. Well done, I'm so proud of you. Raviolino, thanks, Mom. You know it was tough, but in the end I made it. Mom, so it's true. Now you like fish. Raviolino, embarrassed. Yes. Mom, perfect. I'm so happy, and to celebrate this event, I made you a nice cake. Raviolino, amazed. A cake? Really? Mom, yes, Raviolino. A nice cake made of fish. Igor, off screen. Raviolino's childhood was a constant training ground. Every day, new challenges tested his growing mastery of the art of hiding fish in his backpack. It started with a little innocent fillet, and now he had to hide an entire kilo of fish cake. More than a childhood story, this feels like the second level of a strategy video game. Something like Fish Hide. Fish Hide, the only game where lying to everyone is a survival mechanic. Then wait a second, a fish cake? What kind of people are these? Where did Ravioli's mom get the recipe from? From the magazine Seaweed Birthdays, the ultimate guide to marine-themed celebrations? Yeah, and I can just picture the birthday gifts recommended by the magazine. Like a piñata shaped like a fishing boat, and when you break it open, live clams fall out. A truly original idea for throwing up. Or maybe Ravioli's mom came up with the fish cake idea herself. Yeah, to give Raviolino a creative punishment. Certainly, Ravioli had this ability to make others vomit in his blood or in his fins. How funny.